Hello there, Lunar Squadron, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another Star Wars Outlaws video. Today we have some very exciting news to share with you all, as Ubisoft has announced the full post-launch roadmap for Star Wars Outlaws, including a lot of really great DLC gameplay details. We're going to dig through all of these details, tell you exactly what you need to know, and give you our thoughts on this DLC roadmap. But first, if you're new to the channel, we would love to have you. The way to do that is go down below this video, click that subscribe button, and make sure to hit the bell notification button right on next to it. It's going to let you know every single time that Nick and I upload the latest and greatest Star Wars Outlaws videos here on YouTube. And to stay in the loop with all things Lunar Squadron and all things Star Wars Outlaws, make sure to follow us on Twitter at Lunar Squadron. That said, Nick, ready to get into this one?
Oh, definitely.
All right, let's get into this, guys. Today's news comes directly from Ubisoft themselves. This article is titled Star Wars Outlaws Post-Launch Roadmap Revealed. Nick, we knew a little bit of information about the post-launch support that we were expecting from this game just by looking at how Massive has handled the post-launch support for Avatar. It looked like a similar format where we knew there was going to be some things that come out at launch, and then a story pack 1, and then later on a story pack 2. We were expecting to hear something around this time. The first week of August is the week that we had circled in our map as when to expect some more news, and here it is.
Yeah, definitely. I got to give you credit. You called this almost on the dot. You said the first week of August we'd be hearing more about the roadmap for the post-launch content, and here we are on August 5th getting that information. And like you said, we learned a lot of great stuff from Ubisoft today, so I want to just jump right into it. Here I want to start with the sentence in the first paragraph where it says 2 upcoming story packs are included in the season pass and will also be available for standalone purchase, so you will be able to purchase these DLCs individually when they release. You do not have to buy the Ultimate Edition if you want to eventually get your hands on the DLC. And then it continues by saying, at launch, season pass owners will obtain the Kessel Runner character pack with outfits for Scoundrel Kves and her companion Nyx, and get access to an exclusive mission called Jabba's Gambit. All players will meet Jabba the Hutt in the main game, but those with the Season Pass access will gain an additional quest from the notorious Hutt cartel. Just as Kay is putting together a crew for her big heist, she receives a job from Jabba the Hutt himself. ND5 owes the Hutts a debt from years ago, and Jabba has come to collect. I do like that Ubisoft does clarify once again that Jabba will be in the main game. Of course, Andreas, you and I know that from playing this game for 4 hours, that he is the main bad of the Hutt cartel. He is the leader of the Hutt cartel. You will see him in the game. Ubisoft has stated that before, but there was a lot of misinformation going around for weeks, if not months, about how he will be locked behind a paywall, and that is just not the case. It is just an additional mission that will be available at launch. It will be just a side quest. It's not main game stuff. It's not Hutt cartel like stuff from the main game. You will still be seeing Jabba the Hutt. This is just an additional quest that Massive is throwing into the game. Of course, you could make the argument that this should be in the main game, but it's not going to be the case. But you still will meet Jabba the Hutt. I like that Ubisoft has clarified that.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely not news, because we knew that Jabba the Hutt was going to be in the main game. We saw that in the story trailer, and we've said that time and time again to people. Jabba the Hutt was in the story trailer, and so Jabba the Hutt will be in the main game. I did not think they would ever put him in the story trailer or in the other trailers leading up to this game if he would not be in the main game, and so here we have official confirmation of that. Nick, one thing that I do want to focus on here is the fact that players can choose to purchase the season pass after the fact, and I think this is really important. Why? Because a lot of people have been talking about the fact that this game costs like over $100. How many times have we seen that in the comments? And I think that's a little bit of a misleading statement to say that this game costs that much, because that's just simply not true. The base version of this game costs the regular cost for a AAA title in this year. The season pass is ultimately what tips the scales toward that higher price point. Here, this is just confirmation. You can buy the season pass after the fact. You don't need to buy it up front. You don't need to pre-order the game. Nobody's forcing you to buy the game or buy the season pass. You can buy the base price, play the game, decide for yourself if you like the game or not, And then if you really love the game and you want more Star Wars Outlaws, by all means, go buy the Season Pass, enjoy some more, and we get a little bit more details about what that season pass entails in the next segment.
This is just, this is a very controversial topic no matter what, Andreas. No matter what we say, no matter what we talk about, people are going to be upset about this because it's DLC and people don't like the concept of DLC, so what are you going to do about it? But anyway, to get into what we have learned today, that is, of course, the names of the 2 DLC packs and what they will be about. And this first one is called Star Wars Outlaws Wildcard. And of course, this is the one coming in the fall of 2024. And the description is, Kay is hired to infiltrate a high-stakes sabacc tournament, but as she crosses paths with the notorious gambler Lando Calrissian, she soon learns that another game is being played. When this first story pack is released, Season Pass owners will also get the Hunter's Legacy bundle and the Cartel Ronin bundle, with additional outfits for Kay and Nix, plus cosmetics for Kay Speeder and her ship, the Trailblazer. Now, Andreas, one thing I do also want to mention is a lot of people have been concerned ever since the description came out that Lando is actually not going to be in the main game, that he is locked behind the paywall of a DLC. But I believe it is the case that Lando is in the main game. He's actually supposed to be one of the experts in the main game, if I believe correctly. So this will just be additional Lando content that we will be getting in this game. And it looks like, Andreas, we might be getting some sort of Mandalorian Boba Fett cosmetic with this based off of the background of that Hunter's Legacy thing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm very interested in that Hunter's Legacy thing. I was kind of hoping for more of that bounty hunter stuff in the story pack itself, and so I'm hoping that that cosmetic bundle is more indicative of what we can expect in the actual story. Of course, we only have one line to go off of here, or one sentence to go off of here, so there's not too much for us to speculate about, other than the fact that this is a high-stakes sabacc tournament, and that Lando's involved, and that there's something fishy going on. And this is where I'm a little disappointed at this point in terms of how much information we have, because if you guys will recall, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora received a video on YouTube where there's concept art shown for the different story packs, and I feel like that gave me more of a vision of what to expect with the story packs, whereas this article here isn't really giving me personally much information to go off of. At this stage, just reading it, it's one sentence. I wish there was a bit more substance there to get me to want to pay that extra amount for the season pass. And of course, we can get that extra information whenever we do get that extra information. But at this stage, today, as I'm recording this, I just don't see that much here to push me over the edge. But anyway, we have yet another story pack in Story Pack 2 that gives us additional information on that second pack. This one is called A Pirate's Fortune, and this is the one that people are very excited about, at least from what I've seen on Twitter and otherwise, where it reads, "The Trailblazer's reputation precedes Kay as she runs into veteran pirate Hondo Ohnaka, who is looking to settle old scores with a ruthless gang of pirates." This one is expected to come spring 2025. This one, of course, made waves. A lot of people very excited to see Hondo Ohnaka present in a Star Wars video game. A lot of people are very excited about this. I'm excited about this. But again, Nick, not too much by way of details here, but I guess the one nice thing to see is that we have this full timeline spread out now, fall and spring. I wasn't expecting fall and spring. I feel like fall is a pretty quick turnaround here. I was expecting the first story pack to drop in spring, and then maybe the next one to come in the following fall. So I'm actually kind of surprised by this timeline.
Yeah, and I think this is why a lot of people think that this might be cut content from the game, and of course we're just not going to know for sure until the game comes out, so I'm not going to hammer a game if I don't know for sure that that's true or not. Like, we just don't know whether that is the case or not, but it doesn't sound like it based off of the description of this story DLC that it is cut content. But there are a couple things that did shock me, Andres. I agree with you. The fact that the first story DLC is coming in fall, really surprising to me. I thought the first one was going to be coming in the spring of 25, and then we'd be looking at a summer, fall of 25 for the next one. The fact that it is coming within the month or two after release is very surprising. Just totally was not expecting that to be the case. So hopefully that means they're very confident in it, and it is just ready to rock and roll a few weeks after the main game comes out, which will be incredibly exciting if that is the case. And then the other thing that I am a little shocked about is just the content of this DLC, like the scope of it, especially since we know that they've talked about in the game, like we've seen gameplay and we've experienced gameplay where you see NPCs in the world talking about, Black Sun, another very big syndicate. We know there are other big syndicates out there like the Droid Gotra. And I just thought maybe DLC would focus more on these syndicates that don't appear to be in the main base game here, but they play a huge role in this era of the universe. So perhaps they will be featured in some way later on in the game, like a second or third act, or there'll be a reference to them, or perhaps they will be in this story DLC, but I was expecting one of them to be about one of those other big name syndicates that don't appear to be in the main game. So I was just a little surprised by the scope of it, but it is incredibly exciting to have Lando focused DLC to learn more about what Lando is doing in that inner year period between Empire and Return of the Jedi, and just kind of see what he's gotten himself into, because I think at least I've always had questions about what Lando goes off and does. And then another thing, Hondo Ohnaka coming back. Fan favorite character. That's really exciting for a lot of people, especially Clone Wars fans. It's really cool to see them be able to take a fan favorite pirate character and work them into the Star Wars Outlaws story here. So just a lot of really exciting stuff, and just a lot of really shocking stuff for me today.
Yeah, I think this is the point where I kind of want to express just a couple concerns that I have with this. And again, I don't want to go crying wolf here, because we just haven't seen much by way of actual content. Like, there has been no trailer. There is one sentence per story pack here. But I want to kind of set expectations for this season pass, just to be very transparent with everyone what I personally am expecting. The base edition of this game costs $70. The Ultimate Edition of this game costs $130, which means that this season pass has to hold about $60 or $50, whatever it ends up being, for just the season pass. It has to have that $50 to $60 of value. And for me, $50 to $60, that's almost the price of the base game, which is $70. So for me, what would get me personally to go and buy this season pass for that much money, maybe the story is just that good and it's just that expansive, but I would almost need new locations or even new planets to really get me that excited about this. And I'm just a little disappointed at this stage that there's no information on new locations, new areas, new planets, because I was hoping for that, especially after looking at Avatar, which Avatar's story packs got new locations. And so I'm at least a little skeptical at this stage, and I want to see more before coming to a final judgment on this. But also, the fact that Story Pack 1 and 2 are coming so soon, I would expect that we would have more information at this stage. And it's a very quick turnaround for us to get these, and we have a sentence each. So I personally just want more information, and I'm almost expecting that information because I need some clarification before I put my money down on this.
Yeah, Andres, I agree with you. I think there's a lot of stuff here to keep a careful eye on for the next few weeks, especially since we're just roughly 3 weeks away from the actual release of this game. So hopefully over the next few weeks, we will learn a lot of more information about this. And I agree with you. I think there is reason to be cautiously optimistic. It seems like the scope of this DLC, at least what they're going to pursue in terms of story, seems really fun and exciting. But again, we need to see, will there be enough content there? Will there be new locations? Will it be worth the price that we have to pay for this story DLC? Hopefully we will get a video or trailer soon, or more of a deep dive from Ubisoft as the game approaches, or within the weeks after release. So I think there's a lot of stuff we still have to learn, but what we've heard today so far is exciting. Guys, let us know your thoughts down below in the comments of the new story DLC, at least the roadmap that has been laid out, what you learned today, what has you excited, what has you concerned. Are you ready to see Hondo again? Are you ready to go play Sabacc at a high-stakes table with Lando? A lot of exciting potential there, but also a lot of reasons to be a little cautious with this. So just let us know all of your thoughts down below. You guys know we love having these conversations with you. Anyway, that is going to do it for us for this one. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, we will see you all next time.